Hey guys! If you follow my Twitter, you know that I was very excited about the Laci Green video released yesterday. If you haven't heard, she made a video where she discusses the importance of open dialogue with the anti-social justice warrior community and the importance of free speech. Initially, I was optimistic about Laci's authenticity. Then I watched Sargon's video about it, and I've linked that below, which pulled me back to cynicism. But I have returned to optimism, at least as it pertains specifically to Laci Green, for a few reasons. I know that she has said some asinine stuff, I know. She has called us every name in the book. I know that she has been emotional and reactionary in a knee-jerk social justice warrior fashion. I know that she has, no doubt, been actively working against us for years. Like a decade, for real. I am not so quick to forget all of this. A few months ago, she started popping back up on YouTube after taking a hiatus, presumably because of her Trump derangement syndrome. And she started popping up in our online communities. Then I started a debate with Blair White, which was really no debate at all. They were very friendly with one another and shared many points of agreement. And now she's released this video entitled Taking the Red Pill. And I have got to say that she seemed very reasonable and very down to earth and articulate and honest. I believe her, and I will tell you why. I didn't know this, but she grew up in a strict Mormon household, and if you look at the evolution of her worldview, it seems fairly obvious that after growing up in a fundamentalist and restrictive environment that she thought was dysfunctional, she overcorrected and was warmly accepted into the feminist community, where she was able to explore her sexuality. Of course, she went way too far, and in the process of unwinding her personal identity, she seemed to buy into leftist and feminist hysteria pretty regularly. I think she's in her mid-20s, so she's probably becoming more rational and is rethinking her stance on feminism and traditionalism and more generally conservatism. Your brain is still developing, I think, until you're about 25, so we see this pattern of establishing a rational identity around this age range very frequently. I have heard many people say that she's likely doing this because now she can make more money if she's seen by the public as reasonable and open-minded. And I don't think that this is the case because she's certainly aware at this point that even moderate YouTubers like Philly D are making next to nothing in ad revenue month over month. She doesn't seem to have a Patreon or any way to donate to her and her YouTube channel. Maybe she'll do these things in the future, which I'm totally fine with because I do, but it just does not seem like she is trying to monetize this big reveal. However, I won't rule out that she is hedging against hostile public opinion of feminists and social justice warriors. Sargon and a few others have said that this trend of engaging conservatives is a response to their absolutely horrible reception on social media. Over the last year or two, we have seen some hilariously high downvote ratios. This is a good point. Perhaps Laci and others of the BuzzFeed persuasion are thinking, wow, people really hate me and they hate my content. I have to become more appealing to a wider audience. Maybe this is their whole impetus, to which I would say that even if it is, I am not super sure that this even bothers me. Women especially respond very badly to social alienation. This is why historically social pressure has been so effective in disincentivizing destructive behavior that damages society as a whole. If the response of the general public is causing SJW YouTubers to reevaluate their position and their image, I'm going to call that a huge win. That just means that we've shifted the Overton window and this snowflake nonsense is no longer passing as substantive discourse. And that's another reason that I believe Laci. It seems, it really does, that the tides are beginning to turn. I want to talk about a few instances of this that I've noticed this week outside of Laci's video. And I know that these seem like somewhat trivial observations, and maybe they are, but in the absence of larger data, we kind of have to compile our observations to start identifying trends. I like to read Daily Mail even though it is complete trash because they break stories surprisingly often and there are periodically some good Piers Morgan and Katie Hopkins articles. So scrolling through one day this week, I saw this article. I scrolled down and noticed that for the first time in years, I thought that Miley Cyrus looked really pretty and feminine. In the video, she's running on the beach with balloons and a bow-covered sweater. It was really adorable. She's reduced her whore content by like 90%. I read the article and discovered that she was inspired by her incredibly hunky fiancé, Liam Hemsworth, who, by the way, dated her for years in her pre-twerking days. So Miley Cyrus, a woman formerly destroyed by feminism, covered in hideous tattoos, openly discussed orgies, she has had a cringy feminist meltdown in the public eye that we will never forget, but now she has found a more neutral ground that she can occupy where she looks healthier and happier, her music is better, and coincidence, she is being led by a masculine man and is seemingly assuming a feminine and traditional gender role. Additionally, I haven't heard her say anything about politics in months. I don't think that this is a coincidence either. I promise I have some more solid evidence than a celebrity anecdote. Earlier in the week, I saw on Twitter that Everyday Feminism, one of the most popular feminist digital media sites on Earth, is about to shut down because of mismanagement. There is an excellent summary of this in Roaming Millennial's weekly rundown, which I have linked below. Now, listen to what the managing editor has to say about the website shutting down.
So in case you didn't know, I work as managing editor at Everyday Feminism. Everyday Feminism is the largest independent feminist media site in the world with an audience of millions of people. Unfortunately, independent feminist media is really hard to keep financially sustainable, especially in the time of like attacks on free speech and fake news and just Donald Trump in general. So unsurprisingly, a lot of independent feminist media sites are struggling financially. And now that's happening to Everyday Feminism, which like totally sucks. And when I say we're struggling financially, I mean like for real, we may not be able to exist after the month of May.
She blames Trump and makes all sorts of excuses, even though it is obvious that they're just mismanaged. Roaming Millennial points out in her video that none of the giant staff has any kind of business degree, not even a bachelor's degree. Even though Melissa Fabello and the staff of Everyday Feminism have little self-awareness, this still piqued my interest and made me very hopeful. Because whether or not a company or individual is self-aware like it seems Laci Green is, they cannot sustain themselves financially in a free marketplace of ideas. We will have to change some minds, but the free market will take care of some of this corporatized social justice warrior bullshit. So I found it very reassuring that Everyday Feminism is failing so badly, even though they are going to continue to blame white men for their own incompetence. And then today, while I was watching Sargon's video on Laci Green, I saw this mic video from the perspective of anti-social justice warrior YouTubers. I think the characters were based on the Worskis, Lauren Southern, and Milo. I've linked that below. The gist is that we need social justice warriors to mock, and they're becoming scarce, and they really are. It isn't my jam, but for people that do mostly response videos, especially about feminism, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find an outrageous subject for their content. I guess the point of me making this video is to opine on what I think we should do with social justice warrior defectors that want to reevaluate our positions. I think I've made a pretty good case for why many of them will open up to these ideas organically and without malice. So for the most part, I think that we should be welcoming. I used to hold some ridiculous beliefs after all. But we also can't be blind. I hate to put my tinfoil hat on, but someone linked me to this Reddit thread a few weeks ago because it had some comments about me specifically that have since been deleted. But it is a communist thread called "We Need to Infiltrate the Alt-Right Safe Spaces." I'm not even sure if this thread is for real, but generally their plan seems to be to use Discord, comment sections, 4chan, Reddit, to infiltrate conservative, particularly alt-right spaces, then to convert and indoctrinate people from within. I am not even joking. Some of the social justice warriors that are interested in our ideas might actually be compelled to change because they no longer see the value in their principles and lifestyles. And I think that Laci numbers amongst the people of this group. But some will double down, will more fervently hold on to their regressive worldview, and will try to manipulate their way back into positions of power and influence. As such, I am cautiously optimistic about the tides turning. As for Laci, I can't even believe that I am saying this, but I think I like her, and I don't begrudge her former stupidity if she is genuine about her intentions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!